you for joining us. Today we're going to talk about something that's not really talked about within the industry. And I mean, I guess it's starting to be talked about a little bit more in society. But basically, like, your mental health. So we've all been there. I mean, life is like a roller coaster ride, right? So we've definitely all been there. We've definitely all had hard times. Sometimes, some are better than others. So, excuse me, early on, when it was just Brisa and I don't know how to really talk about this. Like, I'm like, is it okay to talk about it? You feel okay talking about this? Yeah, no, I don't care. Okay, so like early on, Brisa and I, we were the only ones in the studio. We had a couple other people like along the way that didn't really last very long. But so Brisa and I very quickly, as a business owner, I noticed that Brisa was struggling. I didn't pry. I think I just came to you like a couple times, like, hey, is something going on? You need a breather? What's happening? So I could tell that Brisa was having times where, like, some days she was amazing, and then you would be good for weeks, and then she'd have a day where it was just like off, and I'm like, yo, go home, rest, relax. Or she would text me that morning. So, like, I guess, how do you handle that as a business owner? One, just let him take the day off. Let him go breathe. I'm like, not to pull you in real quick, Sasha, but like Sasha's even had times, we've all had times, like, I'm going for a walk right now. Like, so you can go have a walk for an hour. Like, it is what it is. Like,
I'll be walking.
I just feel like, go walk, and if you can get back on track, then get back on the track. But if not, obviously have an open space for that person to be able to then come talk to you and say, hey, like, I might need more time. Like we were talking about, situations like your friends stuff, like, might need extra time off to handle some things. Like, life happens, right? So how do we deal with that? How do you deal with that? How do you deal with that? Like, basically just an open conversation on the shit we deal with every single day. Sometimes not for weeks, but sometimes every day, right?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard dealing with it. I feel like, for me, I'm Mexican, and I have Mexican parents, and they don't really believe that, like, mental health is an actual thing. They think it's fake. They think you're making it up for attention. And it's, like, really upsetting because I don't really have an outlet of, like, somewhere to, like, vent to, have, like, talk about my feelings to, like, without, like, having judgment. And, like, it's hard to talk to somebody when you've been growing up, like, you can't talk about that stuff. So, yeah, so in the beginning, I know, like, it was, like, at the point where, like, I think my mental health was getting, like, at its, like, worst part. And it sucks because, like, I had found a job that I really liked and everything, and I'm like, I really want to work on this. But I've never really, like, committed to anything, like, long-term, honestly. And I never admitted it to Amber until, like, later, but I never really committed to it. I was like, I never committed to anything for a long time. Like, this is my longest-standing job and, like, all of that stuff. Yeah. And, like, it was hard. It's hard to get out of habits that you're already used to. Yeah.
So what were some ways that, because, I mean, early on, I have a horrible memory because I'm like, I don't really even remember it ever being, like, an issue. So maybe I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, there'd be days, sure, like, where Brisa, like, maybe we needed to get something done, but, like, is it more important than, dealing with the feelings and the things you need to get through? Probably not. Like, I mean, today we had planned, we were going to go, we were going to plan, we're going to do social media, and we switched it. Like, we could put that on Tuesday. I think it's the same thing. Like, if you have something you need to deal with, is it, like, the end of the world, or let you feel it, let you get through it, be there, because obviously you're a good, like, I don't even call you an employee, but you're a good worker. So it's like, it's kind of, I guess there's that, like, saying they say to, like, as long as you get, I don't know, I'm going to quote this wrong, because I'm like, as long as you get, like, you have employees, like, as long as, sorry, these lashes are killing me, like, is it 60% out of an employee, or I don't know, I might be a little low, but as long as you get that out of somebody, like, appreciate that person, right? Because some people you're going to get 20% out of, and they're just not going to be a good worker. But with Brisa, I could tell she was, like, a quality person, right? Like, you're talented, you're, like, so what? She's dealing with some things. So what in that moment, or what in that time, because, I mean, it's gotten drastically better. So, like, drastically, like, because I remember it was at least once a month, or we were having a couple times a month where we were having to be like, okay, let's stop, let's reevaluate, how can we get through this? So what was it that you found that helped you or got you to where you are now? Because like, now I think you're doing amazing. You're just not showing it anymore. So you say when you're having a rough day though now too. So I'm like, we kind of all know, but That's like a rule in the studio.
Really just, okay, so the first step of anything is admitting that there's a problem, obviously.
Yeah.
And, like, I knew there was a problem, but I never really took charge of it. Like, I knew that there was something, like, not wrong, because there's nothing wrong with me, but, like, just something not fully there, you know? And, like, admitting when you have admitting having a problem is, like, hard. Like, you're like, oh, there's something wrong. Like, but there isn't anything wrong. It's just really just having the initiative to see where my goals, like, where I want to be is, like, somewhere high. And I'm like, where I'm at right now is not going to get me there. And really the motivation is just, like, if I have people in my life that I'm very inspired by, like, I have my cousin, she's done reselling, and she's making a lot of money, she's making good, like, with her business and everything, and she's about to hire employees. I'm like, she's an inspiration for me. And, like, Amber, you two were, like, a part of, like, an inspiration for me, because I saw how hard you worked and everything, and I'm like, I want to be as good as the people that I feel inspired by, and if I stay where I'm at and I don't help myself, I'm going to be left behind. Mm-hmm. And I can't be left behind. Like, I personally, mentally, I can't be left behind. I'm like, I have to fix this. So I started going to therapy.
That's really strong. That's really strong to be able to, like, say that and recognize it and then do something about it.
That's a hard part, doing something about it, because it's like, it's a habit. It's really a habit. Like, you are waking up, doing the same thing every day, and then all of a sudden you see your life and you're like, I don't like it, but I have to change it. And some people can't change it because they love comfortability. Yeah. And I always tell myself, I'm like, I can't be comfortable, because if I'm comfortable, I'm going to be left behind and no one's going to be there for me.
Well, yeah, because if you're comfortable, you're not growing.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
You're just staying in the same place. You don't, like, it's like, oh, I'm comfy. This is great. Like, okay, cool. Like,
stay in there, yeah.
Yeah, literally. I'm going to come back. I got a thought for Jess over here.
Uh-oh.
Nothing. It's not that crazy, but I guess, like, this probably, I mean, I think people, I don't know if they even consider this, I mean, I would consider this mental health, but, like, I still remember being new, and I still remember those days of leaving the studio, like, being scared shitless, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm never doing this again. I would leave crying. I would, like the motivation, like, I don't even know, I couldn't even tell you, well, I do know where it comes from, because I kind of have, like, parent stuff too, but it's like, how do you balance that? How do you get out of that? It's like, how do you find the drive to keep going? Because, like, if we listen to our minds, it's like our heart is like, oh, you're okay, you can do this. Our mind's like, fuck you, I'm getting out of here. I'm running. Like, so it's like, how do you balance that? And because you're a mom too, so you got 3 kids, so you can't go home. I mean, you can, but, like, you don't want to go home crying. I don't even want to go home crying and my puppies see me crying, because I feel like they're gonna feel my energy. So I'm like, you don't want to go home crying, and you have a job, right, that's like so, like, whiplash back and forth, like, good day, bad day, good day, bad day. How like, how do we even do that? I'm like,
well, if you know me my whole life, I am always like, fight or flight is gonna be flight. Anything everything I base myself on, like, since I was little. If it's too hard, oh, that's too hard, I quit. But then I got to a point where I'm like, you know what, when I die, I want to feel like, did you do everything you wanted to do? Because this is our only chance, you know? And I'm like, you know what? I remember on my birthday telling my husband when I
recent birthday?
No, it was probably like 2 or 3 years ago when I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm serious. I want to take a tattoo apprenticeship, because it's just for me. Like, it's something I want to accomplish. And even if I don't go anywhere with it, like, I want to see if I can do it.
What did you do before? Just real quick, touch on that. Like, what? I don't even know.
I was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
Before I had kids, I was a dental assistant.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I guess I did.
I love that job. It was fun. But,
so why not just go back to that? I imagine that would be like end of day, all done, go home.
Yeah, like, you can leave it at work and leave, but then it's like, I want to be fulfilled, And I also have, like, this, like, legacy mindset where I want to leave my children something to make their life a little easier. Or I want to be a good role model. That right there is the tricky one that's, like, kept me, like, doing this, because I wanted to leave so many times. I'm like, oh, this is too hard. Why am I glutton for punishment? Like, I'm literally putting this on myself. Like, this was all my idea. Why am I doing this? And then I'll, like, think about, like, oh, so easy. I would just drop them off at school, get all my errands done, and then pick them up from school. Now I have to do all that after work.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's way harder. But having a good support system at home, having y'all, for one, to give me the examples y'all went through, but having a talk with my husband the way home, like, you know, talking sense into you, like, you need someone that's going to build you up.
What does he say to you in those moments where you're like crying? It took me 6 hours on this eyebrow. Is he like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, he's like, you being hard on yourself. Everyone has their first day. Like,
Aw.
this is this is normal. And I bet they cried too. I'm like, no, they didn't, and all this stuff. But he was right, and I'm like, I'm not quitting this, because in the past, I would start something and get too hard, I would quit. Like, embarrassing. I joined when I graduated college. I went to beauty school for 1 week. 1 week, and I'm like, I can't do this, and I quit. And then I'm like, I don't want that to be me again, you know, like,
shoot, we've made it 3 months with you so far. We're
I know,
doing good over
it's
here.
good. Yeah, but yeah, my mind, I go topic to topic. So what I was saying about my little girl, like, she loves to draw. That's all she does. And I could see, what if I pave that route for her? She can be a tattoo artist too. We can hang out together. It would be so awesome. But at least I would have something for her, you know, to give her, like, make her path easier. So it's like more of a responsibility when you have other people you're trying to live for too, I guess you could say. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
for sure. I recently saw a TikTok where, like, I think it's true that it's happening. Like, a lot of people don't really want to have beginnings, like the true beginnings of, like, failing, not doing good, and, like, just continuing on to, like, do better. Like, nobody wants to have a beginning. Everybody wants to be a pro, like,
What's
right
so
away.
weird to me is I, like, love beginnings, and I don't know where that comes from, because I too, like, you know, I mean, my parents are wonderful, but I mean, I think everybody has childhood things. Like, I can relate to you because, like, I was a kid, you know, and I was, like, my mom's like, where are your ruffle socks at? First off, I'm not a girl. Like, I'm not girly. So it's like, I was cutting them up, making Barbie clothes. I was drawing on the back of my dressers all over the walls. I was painting the neighbor's swing set. I was doing all these things that I felt like if somebody would grasped onto that sooner, like at an earlier age in life, I would have probably been, because I had to put myself in art school. I had to move myself out of state because my family never left, you know, so, and I still carry that with me. I don't know if anybody really knows that, but, like, I carry that shit with me daily, and it's like, I had to develop that drive for myself, because I remember being at Christmas, and I was probably like 20 years old, and everybody laughing, like, this girl thinks she's going to go do art. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, I am. But there's nobody in there, like, in my family, in my entire, like, it's all the everyday job. It's the plumbers, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's the bankers, it's the plumbers, it's the nurses, it's the this, and every single one of them's unhappy. I'm like, look, if I'm going to do art, and whatever that means, like, I'm just artistic, and I'm different, and, like, thank God I found whatever that was, like, but I just love those beginnings. I'm like the unknown. I'm literally like, ooh, I never even visited California before I moved there. Didn't even have a place to live when I moved there. I'm like, I love that because when you put yourself there, you have to figure it out. There's no other option.
Exactly.
So I tend to do that. Poor Sasha. Now that I'm talking out loud, I'm like, oh God, Sasha, I'm sorry. I'm like, that's totally where it comes from. Because I'm like, I just had an aha moment. Because I'm like, that is where it comes from. Because I'm like, that's why I do that. Because I just throw us into random things, and I'm just like, we're gonna figure it out. But I love new beginnings. I just, like, thrive on those.
Yeah.
But if you, like, with your children, I think that's wonderful that you're, like, seeing that, because I mean, this doesn't have nothing. Does it have to do with mental health? I don't know. But I'm like, I love that you see that and noticing and recognizing that. Like, being aware is, like, huge, because it's like, if somebody would have done that with me and I would have had a little encouragement, could you imagine?
Yeah.
I might have not done anything. I might have been like, huh, lazy bum, you know, like, I might have just went the other direction. Maybe it fueled my fire a little bit. But it's interesting to see what our experiences form us into.
Yeah.
Sasha. We're like, Sasha, you've been quiet over there.
I'm like,
Just
Sasha, what's some
listening.
of the stuff that you've been struggling with, like, that you're open to talk about, like, that has affected your work?
She's got something in there, you guys. I feel it.
It's like, I just don't want to put it, like, on blast too much, but just, like, my environment outside the studio sometimes I struggle with, like, and it really gets to my mental health, and I have to learn to check in and check out. And that, for me, makes me feel a little crazy when I have so many emotions, when you have to check in and, like, be one way, certain point of day, then you go home and it's, like, a different type of energy, which is, it's not always like that, but yeah, I think that's what I struggle with the most, is just like my
I think a
outside
lot of people can
environment.
probably relate to that. Like, it's you don't want to be a different person, and I mean, there's times where, I mean, you guys know, I'm not gonna put this on blast, but where I go do certain things, and I'm like having to be
Yeah.
Uppity.
uppity and
Yeah.
Amber and the on, and like you guys know, on a daily basis, I come in there and I've been on a struggle bus lately. I mean, I apologize to all of you. I have been on a struggle bus. I mean, and I've been vocal about it.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't be so vocal about it, but I'm just
but
like
it's good.
mental
It's,
mental breakdown last night. You know, I'm just like I feel like if you don't have those moments and we're just carrying them around and we're not talking about them, it's like you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
good to
it's
hold
true.
that energy and like cry, let that shit out, and like breathe through it. You feel so much lighter afterwards. Like, and who cares if you're crying? Like, I think I don't know who's cried last, probably me. But I'm just like, I'm like, who? Like, it's all right, cry. I don't give a shit if you're crying. Like,
Yeah.
like let that
Get
shit
it
out.
out.
Like you.
It was me.
Uh,
Finally.
I cried last night.
Oh, okay. So yeah. All right, it's you.
But if we're talking in the studio, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're always going through something though, and I think,
Yeah.
I mean, we're all women, and we all have like emotions that we're feeling, except for Tanya, that's over in the background.
Yeah.
We switched out just for Tanya.
Yeah.
You know, this time Tanya doesn't have emotions; she don't feel that. So she always teases us, or looks at us like we're crazy, or disappears in the back. And
Yeah.
Yeah, because one time we always have music when we're doing clients, and we put it on like oldies country, and it reminded me of my grandpa so much, like, because he would sing these songs, and he passed away like probably about 5 years ago, and I was like, I'm about to start crying, it's reminding me of my grandpa, and then here's Tanya right behind me. She's like, holding in a laugh, and she's like, oh wait, I just did that. I'm like, that's okay.
or Jess. We're like, yeah, talk about mental health. And we're like, she's like, they're liars. I tried, and then Tanya, she started busting my balls and wouldn't let me express myself and being bullied. Oh my goodness.
Tanya bullies me all the time. I'm like, Tanya, I'm going through it. Just bully me, tell me to get my shit together, and we'll be good. And then I'm good after.
Actually, I'm like, so I don't, and we don't have to talk about what was going on because I don't like whatever. But I'm like, Sasha tried to sneak out one day.
Yes, that's what I thought was the last one from that.
That was shoot! I've cried like 16 times since then. There ain't nothing wrong with crying. I don't care. Anyways, she tried to. My cheeks hurt from laughing.
I know.
So Sasha tried to sneak out, or no, I think you said something. I think she said, "Amber, I'm gonna go out." Or
I just I'm gonna go to the car really quick,
I got the car really quick.
and then I texted you, and that's what.
Oh,
it was.
so then she texts me, and I'm like, and it's weird because like as a business owner, I'm like, I'm so proper. I'm like, do you go check on the person if they're having a hard time? Do I pry for information? But I'm like, at this point, y'all are screwed. I'm like, because now I'm treating you guys like friends.
Yeah.
I'm like, I see, guess what? Knock, knock.
Yep.
And Sasha's like, what the hell? I'm like, let me in the car. I'm coming in. What's happening?
Look at her. I'm like, Amber. But I
I'm like,
needed
let me
it
take
though.
you back to 1959 when my mom. I'm just kidding.
No, but it helped me though. Talking, like, that's my solution when it comes to like moments like that. If I can just vent it out, I'm over it. Like right after, I'm just like,
I feel that too.
Yeah,
I do.
yeah.
Yeah, I do well if I'm allowed to like talk it
Yeah.
out.
yeah. I joked earlier about like when I get frustrated, like taking walks and stuff like that. For me, it's venting. I just need someone just to listen real quick, and then I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
So,
So funny.
but yeah,
Because I'm kind of like Tanya too. I'm like, no emotions. What the
Yeah.
fuck is wrong with you? But then I'm like, yeah, but hold on. They are real. They're having something real. Something real is happening right now.
yeah.
Did you want to talk a little bit about, because I know you and I ditched her. I should never ditched her. That woman that I had, BetterHelp, remember? Is she a therapist, a psychologist?
Yeah.
What's the difference? I don't
Honestly,
know.
there's
think
been a
so.
lot of stories about BetterHelp. I don't
Well,
know.
BetterHelp, but you're way too expensive. Way too expensive for what you
They're,
get.
I don't know, but I
Therapy's
recommend
expensive
getting
in
one.
general.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I commend you for taking the steps. I never had because I'm just like, I can't afford
To
it.
spend that money.
I mean, I'm lucky. I mean, I'm privileged. I'm privileged to have insurance under my mom, and she has really good insurance, and I could get into like a therapist.
That's helpful.
I mean,
yeah.
to be fair, like Vegas doesn't have very good therapy, like a system for therapy, and not a lot of therapists either. But I have found somebody that I actually like going to, and yeah. Like it's
Yeah.
hard, especially because with therapy you have to connect with them. If you don't connect with them, then it's nothing really is going to get resolved because
Yeah.
you don't really want to open up to them because it's hard to open up.
Someone new that you don't really
Yeah,
know.
like you have to
Yeah.
tell them your problems. You have to tell them like all of your like faults. Basically, they're not faults, but you see them as faults because it's something that you don't like.
Yeah, and then if you don't like them, then you have to go through it with someone else again.
Again,
and
you
just
have to repeat the steps all over again because they have to
Yeah.
take like a little quiz to tell, like learn about you.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And it is really like kind of annoying and like
Yeah,
hard
because remember
work.
I had one and I was like, oh, I don't like her at all. Like, I didn't like her at all. I just had a thought that I was not supposed to say. And then, the other lady that I ended up getting, I really liked her, but it was interesting because I'm a psycho and I ended up finding her outside of that BetterHelp like app.
Yeah.
I told her I was going to do that, but she couldn't. Like, she was like being calls being recorded for like quality purposes. So I'm like, okay, I see your vibe. But so it was like $2.99, I think, for her to see her. It was once a month with BetterHelp. Her sessions outside, I think I can say this, outside of that, it was like $70 for an hour session.
Oh wow.
So much more affordable. I'm like, for that price, I could see this woman, and I liked her because she talked about like vibes and energy work, and like wasn't just like, and she was tattooed, and she's just seemed like she wasn't like you just like. I said,
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like you can't talk to, like you said, I can't talk to this person, but if you can connect with them,
No, I've had multiple therapists, and I mean, this is not a good thing, but like I lied during my therapy sessions. I'm like, I'm fine. Nothing's going on. Yeah, I'm good. I don't know what you're talking about. But like, I've lied because like I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to tell you what I'm going through. Like, I feel like you're gonna judge me because there's some therapists, they look at you and you can tell they're judging you.
Oh,
You can really tell that
scary.
they're judging you. I'm like, well, I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah.
it is scary.
Yeah.
It's already hard enough to go in there and then to feel that way on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just make my friends listen.
I was
My
gonna
therapist.
say, so that is why you need a team.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 therapists outside of
Yeah.
outside of your friends. And I feel like sometimes friends. I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I always ask my friends, I'm like, I don't mean to be negative. Let me know if you could take this on right now. And then if you don't want to talk, we'll talk later.
Oh, see, that's a nice
That's a
way
good
to
way,
say
yeah.
it. Because sometimes I'm like, dang, girl, I'm like, I got all this and not all that. Like, I'm like, I had to
Yeah.
carry all this now. I'm like, that's a lot. That's
Yeah.
way nicer
That's
way to
being
put
very
it.
Except for
considerate.
Tanya, I'm like, what? Don't listen to me right now. Like, you have to.
That's so funny. Yeah, so for people that don't know, Sasha and Tanya are
Oh,
friends outside of work. So,
So I keep shouting her out.
yeah. So Tanya brought Sasha to Miss Amber Red's studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you
No.
want to talk about?
I'm like, yeah,
Basically, just be open, right?
Yeah,
Open
talk to
sure.
people. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
yeah.
talking-
Find a
Just
support
us
system
too.
Yeah.
Like us, like be more aware of people around us if they look like they're going through something. I think we get scared off because we try to fix the problem they're having, like, and you don't want to go approach them because you don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But just being there for them, letting them vent and saying, I don't know either, but I'm here for you. You
Yeah.
know? Like, just that means the world, you know?
Yeah.
Just having somebody, so.
And you just had a nice heart. You can feel it.
Yeah. Yin and yang
Little
Aquarius.
little southern girl over there. What they say is true. Y'all are nice.
Y'all, yeah, y'all need to be nicer over here. Quit being so mean when you drive. Oh my god.
There are a lot of mean people in Vegas. I'm not gonna lie. There are a lot of mean
It's
people
the
in
heat.
Vegas.
Okay.
It
I
probably
know.
is. It probably is.
It's just too hot.
Yeah. No,
They're
really.
too hot. That's
Everyone's
what.
annoyed.
It's like, if I open a door for you, tell me thank you at least.
Really?
You know, just like barge through. Like, I ain't
That
gonna do
is one of my
no
pet
more.
peeves, actually. If I hold the door, I'll hold the door, and then they don't say anything. I'm like, next time I'll let that door slap you in the face.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is not nice. You say thank you. Like,
Yeah, really.
oh, goodness. All right, guys, I think we're going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for joining us. And if y'all need somebody to talk to, y'all need somebody to talk
Y'all
to.
see y'all.
Feel free to send us
You
a message.
guys.
Yes, you guys, because we are here for you. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.